Hi. Now this is the follow-up video on the CNC. Now, if you remember, I did mention it wasn't quite finished, obviously. And it's fully operational though, but one feature that is crucially missing is the dust extraction. Now the dust extraction has been planned right from the start. There's several ways of doing it. Now, personally, I decided to use my trusted shop vac in order to do the dust extraction. So on the back of the CNC you can see a port for the hose as well as a socket, so the dust extractor can be turned on and off automatically when the CNC machining starts. These are the ducts I'm using. These are made of polyurethane, and there's also a copper wire that's running end to end. Now it may not seem like much, but this copper will help dissipate a lot of the static electricity buildup that's happening when you are actually running the dust extraction. Now we have a fixture table and we want to drill our PCB. We start by placing a marter board, something which is going to stop us from drilling straight into the fixture table, and then on top of that we put the PCB. Okay, and then we have something to hold everything in place. When we're drilling with one of these solid carbide drill bits, like these ones with an 1/8 of an inch shank, these are upcutters. So as you're drilling into the material, the bit will eject the waste, towards the top, but it will also lift the material. And what can happen is that PCB could lift up slightly. Also, the PCB is, by nature, they're not particularly flat. I mean, just that one I can feel, look at this. There, it's just wobbling, so not particularly flat. Now, if you're doing just a regular PCB, you don't really care about this. But there's one case you would care, and that is if you were to chemically plate through this PCB. When you're chemically plating through a PCB, you need to have as clean as a hole as you can. And in particular, the copper should be cut very cleanly so that you get a good contact from top and bottom layer once you've metallized the inside of the hole. So to make it clean, what we typically is done is a piece of aluminum is added on top of the PCB, and this is going to serve a couple of functions. The first one, it will stop the drill bit from chattering on top of the copper surface where the bit hesitates, creating a larger hole. Definitely would be not good for the plating through. And the second thing is, because it is an upcutter, it tends to lift material up, and it would be lifting the copper clad, which is only 35 micron thick. It would be lifting that up, creating a burr, and that's not desirable if you're plating through. Now this is all well, but this can only work if you're actually keeping everything pressed together. So for the dust extraction, on top of the dust shoe, what we need also is a pressure plate, something which is going to keep everything nice and tight when it's being drilled. And that's the design that we're going to be looking into. So this is the design for our push plate / dust shoe. The idea of the design is simple. This part here on the top will attach to the spindle. There are no real retainer or screws. Basically, there's a set of neodymium magnets at the bottom, so you can just pull in and out and it just clips onto the spindle magnetically. We can actually take a look at the spindle. So there's a spindle. So that fits onto the spindle, and then the lower part is just going to move up and down. And if we take a look at the cross section, now we can see, just rebuild this, the spring inside, which is going to get compressed. There's obviously the dust duct slightly tapered here, so that when it goes up, it does not actually interfere with the body, stop some vortex, or the angle points straight at where most of the dust should be produced. and the spring is preloaded to create the necessary tension, before we start drilling, and it will move up a little bit before the bit contacts. The idea of this bump here is to apply the pressure in a fairly localized area, just to create a maximum of pressure. The slits here are to trying to get a maximum of dust out and create some airflow underneath as well. And the openings here is also to create some airflows. Now, because it's a dust extractor and it comes from the shop vac, there's going to be quite a lot of pressure. The last thing I want is all the air to come from that way, because that would be lifting the material up. So the idea is to create, a sort of an airflow all around to help guide the dust. Well, that's the theory anyway, I have no idea. Now, obviously, before the plate is up, the air will come from the top as well, but as it moves, this is going to stop this airflow and accelerate the bottom airflow and guiding it. Now, that's the theory. I have a non-profit license for SolidWorks, and obviously the simulation for the flow is not part of that. So I have not been able to simulate that. And, well, that makes it all the more exciting for actually running some tests. So we'll see what happens. Okay, enough talking. Let's just try it. Well, I'm really pleased. It worked. It worked really nicely. The dust extraction made a huge difference from when I ran it without. There was just a little bit of epoxy left on the PCB, a little bit of chaff, that was hanging onto the dust shoe. But overall, that thing worked. Now, I know some of you may be arguing that, running a powerful shop vac, there was little risk of it not working. Well, believe me, it never stopped me before. On the whole quality, same thing. I ran tests with and without, but I think we should take a look with the microscope just to see the output. But I can tell you right away what a difference it makes. Either the pressure plate as well as the entry board, both are serious contributors to having, a chatter-free, a burr-free hole. But let's take a look. Okay, now, this is the test board. I ran 3 sets of tests, each drilling 100 holes. It's worth noting the spindle was running flat out, and there seems to be some resonance frequency causing excessive vibration. Lowering the speed, I could tell a huge difference, but this is really going to showcase the differences with and without. Let's take a look. Okay, that's so interesting. Let me pick up another one. It's the same pattern. It's really fascinating. And there's another one. It's fascinating. So we can, well, I don't know if it's clearly, but I presume it is the chatter which is causing this funny shape there. And once the bit's gone in, if I flip the board now, look at that, look at the difference it makes. That looks almost perfect. Yeah, that one looks good as well. There's a little bit of burr on the top. and that one's on the side, and that one's also has got a clear piece of burr. You see on the right, on the top right. Okay, let's take a look now on the holes with the pressure plate and with the aluminum entry board. So this is the top hole. It's not perfect. The bottom hole, you know, without anything, looked cleaner than this one. But considering what we saw, you know, without anything, this is such an improvement. And I'll be perfectly happy with that. And it all seems to be pretty much along the same vein. And there are no differences between these holes. Let's flip it on the other side. Now, unsurprisingly, it was already pretty good. And this is looking almost perfect. It's interesting to see the little chaff inside the hole. Clearly, the fibers of the epoxy were torn rather than cut. And that is to be expected. I think even in professional PCBs, they get, you know, the wall is not just perfectly smooth. Okay, now let's take a look at the aluminum plate. It looks like a massacre. I think this is probably caused by the chatter, and the aluminum also, you know, melts quite quickly. So, so we have the burr, we have the chatter, we've got pretty much everything that we saw in the hole when we were drilling without it. So it's definitely served its purpose. Now, if I flip it round, you can tell it's not perfect, but it's just already so much better. And that's 180 micron thick, this plate. So you can see how much of a difference it's made. Okay, so that was that's really interesting to look at. So I think I definitely need to you know, fix the vibration issue of the spindle, and the fix seems to be running it much lower. I mean, the difference is just incredible. And whenever I need to plate a PCB through, using the aluminum entry plate seems to make a lot of sense. If I'm not, then the pressure plate will help remove some of the burr on the exit side of the hole, and I will get some chatter, and you know, I will get an imperfect entry side of the hole, but I don't care. You know, even if it's plated through mechanically using rivets and so on, that would be absolutely fine. When you're electroplating or chemically plating, so there's two steps in plating a hole. There's the electrolysis step and the electroplating step. You need to have a clean hole, and that's going to work for me. So I'm going to be reworking the dust extraction. I won't bother you with a video on that. And yeah, speak to you next time. Bye bye.